We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey, everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 71 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about a couple Valentine's Day specials. You've probably seen them. If you haven't, you should probably watch them.
At least one of them.
At least one of them. They're very entertaining. They're not for everybody. But I feel like if you listen to this podcast enough and appreciate any of the things that we watch, then you'll probably like at least one of these, if not both.
There's quite a bit of like crossover between the two of them, like people involved.
That is true. There are multiple people involved in both of them. And the humor, I'd argue, kind of crosses over as well.
Yeah.
Like a tiny bit.
Very ridiculous shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's all just a bunch of really weird stuff happening in both. I have not mentioned what both are. I'm going to let somebody else do that. I feel like I talk a lot on this podcast.
You didn't want it to come out of your big mouth?
I didn't want it to come out of my big mouth.
Well, do you want to start with that one? Because one of us hasn't seen it.
Yeah, Scott.
So we'll start with this one and get it out of the way.
Might as
I
well.
feel it's not that big of a surprise since I still haven't watched the second season of Big Mouth. If that's
You wouldn't
even-
I was unaware that you hadn't watched the second season. I thought you had.
That's
won't
snuck under the
necessarily
wire
be
there.
missing out on anything if you watch this and don't watch the second season, I don't think.
Yeah, there's like one character you see that wasn't in the first season.
That's fair.
And that's it.
That kind of takes away my only excuse for not watching it. 'Cause that's all I had. There's no other good reason besides I just wasn't feeling it.
It's like 45 minutes. It's easy to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Like I said,
hilarious.
No excuse. I have
It is
zero
hilarious.
excuse. I just didn't.
It's just
Well-
what I found with it is it's really fast paced. It's like they tried to fit all their recurring characters into it and as many references as possible while still having some semblance of a plot.
That does sound like a Netflix special in general.
Yeah. It sounds like Netflix.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's fair. They just try to be as relevant as possible with a semblance of a plot.
And let me tell you, they nailed it once again.
Obviously. They have a catchy
Obviously.
song,
Well,
Oh,
that's good.
got both of the songs.
couple stupid references.
Well, 2 out of 3 of the songs. I'm not going to count the third one because that's technically the theme song.
Right, I forgot that they reused the theme song.
But what's your number one takeaway from this, Craig? Other than the fact that Andrew is just like his dad, apparently.
Yes, he is. We all feel that from day to day. Sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely said some things recently where I've been like, shit, that's what my dad would say.
Nope. No, I have no.
Only when I get a little bit of road rage, to be honest, that I'm like, fuck.
All right,
That's-
so I'm the only one. Okay.
Yeah, I'm more like my uncle. Does that count?
That does count. I'll qualify that.
It's an older man in
Yeah,
my life.
in your life.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
There's better ways to word that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Especially when he's your uncle. Like, you're just
Very
hitting
much
checking
Yeah.
all of the boxes, man. Biggest takeaway from this. Well, it's been a few days since I watched it, so I'm not going to lie when I say that
Not everything's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, no, I'm not really remembering it. The jokes that jump out at me. Oh, like the only joke I can think of clearly is the one where Maury's got the furry dick and it looks like it's covered in
The herpes.
yeah, it looks like it's
The
covered
hearts.
in hearts, but it's got herpes. That's the only thing that's fresh in my mind at this point.
Well, the other thing that should be fresh in your mind is that Lola's fucking crazy, but
Well,
that's just a given.
Obviously.
That's just a given.
Obviously.
I was psyched to
She
see that
loves
Matthew
drama.
got some solid screen time this go around.
It really felt like a Matthew episode almost.
Yes, it did, and I'm fine with that.
I
Matthew has been an underutilized character.
I think after the second season, there were people that were kind of clamoring for some more Matthew.
Shit, after the first season. After he has his closet conversation with Andrew, and what's that? The third episode, where Andrew thinks he's gay.
Yeah.
After that, I was like, no, I could definitely see some more of this guy, even if it's just the also bye, just the way he talks.
It seemed like he got more time in the second season, which kind of fleshed him out, which would make it so that people would want more attention paid to him. So, it made sense that they would do an episode with him.
And he's got a beautiful singing voice.
Yes, he does.
Can't disappoint that. I really hated the Devin and Devon angle that they put on this. There was no need for it to be there. It didn't better the story at all.
This is what I was saying about them putting in as many references as possible while still having a semblance of a plot.
Like if anything, the only attachment to the real world I can see from that is just that there's a lot of people out there who kind of use Valentine's Day as a stepping stone to be like, oh, my boyfriend loves me more than anyone else. And they really lean heavily on that. I want you to do something weird for me. Something, what'd she say? She wants him to devastate her or something. Just rock her world with something ridiculous. So, he gets her the chocolates. Life is good. And she says no. And then he gets her a rescue puppy. And she's like, what? All I get is a secondhand puppy.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
So he has to keep the dog. And he ends up proposing in middle school.
I was just like, wait, this has got so far.
Yeah. He ends up proposing. That's the only way to devastate her. And then Lola makes a funny joke where she's like, always the child bridesmaid and never the child bride.
I forgot about that joke. That might actually be my favorite.
Because Lola sneaks in with the random sayings. It's her voice.
She says it, obviously, but she says twice how much she likes drama, too.
Yeah, because I feed off drama.
And it's just the way that Nick does the voice. It's so funny.
Yeah. Oh my god. But no, like like I said, the Devin and the Devon thing. Like I was just like, I know a lot of people who are like, oh, I need one day a year where my boyfriend needs to show me he loves me, and then they go fucking nuts. And it's like, it's just my opinion, but there's too many people like that. This isn't the opinion of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast necessarily.
No, I second that. There's too many. There's
way too many people out there.
Good old Forgot to Grow Up stamp on that one.
Yep,
there's way too many people out there who use one day of the year to try to be like, my boyfriend's better than yours. He may be sliding into everyone else's, messages throughout the rest of the year trying to get his dick wet, but this one day a year, he's better than everyone because he bought me flowers and a box of chocolates and told me he loved me. Like, why can't you do that shit any day? Why do you need one day a year to try to upstage a bunch of other people? Why can't you just fucking be happy?
I'll take partial blame. It is my profession's fault. It's marketing's fault. It's all marketing.
I have no problem with the people who go out and they do the stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to go out to dinner, you want to buy her chocolates and flowers, tell her you love her, do your thing,
Yeah. Spend your money how you
I'm
want.
one of those saps too. Like I told an ex-girlfriend I loved her for the first time on Valentine's Day. Craig and I talked about this the other day. I'm that sap. However,
You so are.
it doesn't have to be like now it's a public knowledge thing for me. But it doesn't have to this is like 4 years later. But it doesn't have to be an Instagram Valentine's Day. A Gramentine's Day. Valengram's Day? Valengram's Day. I found it.
Is so much better.
Hashtag Valengram's Day. It doesn't have to be one of those. It could just be, thank you for the flowers, dear. Let's go bone and maybe have some dinner. Life is amazing right now. This is a great Valentine's Day. It doesn't have to be Valengram's Day, which is the way it's evolved to. Like, think, how many people do you know who go nuts for stupid little shit because the bar has been set so low, and it's just, oh my goodness, I gotta do this on Valentine's Day. He needs to do this for me. Maybe it's just me. I just don't have patience for it. Like,
No, I know what you mean.
children.
I just, I've kind of given up on people learning self-actualization. Is that how you say it? Is that the right word?
Sounds correct.
That sounds,
You know what I
sounds
mean?
about
Like
right.
being like being able to just be happy with themselves without needing exterior, like what's it called? Validation.
Like approval?
Validation.
Corporation,
there you
yeah.
go.
Validation. That's a good one. Yeah, like I know a lot of people. I could name a few right now that I'm not going to.
Let's not, for Craig's sake and editing, like
Who I know damn well, they're the kind of people, both male and female, who are like, I'm going to post this. And then 3 days later, if they haven't broken 100 and something likes, they take it down because
God
it's not worth their time.
Calling people out.
Like, I'm calling them out, okay? You guys just need to be happy. That's what life is about. Be happy. Don't need one day a year to be like, I'm super happy today. Just be happy every fucking day.
Or don't.
Just you're alive. Be happy.
Or don't.
But don't fucking tell me about it. Don't post about
It doesn't
it.
have to be perfect all the time.
yeah, I opt for depression, but you don't see me bitching about it on social media.
That's it. You text me about it.
Exactly.
We bitch about life, and then we just go. We go make a podcast about TV shows that somehow bring us out of the TV show and into how pissed off the real world makes us, which is basically what TV does anyway.
It's all circle.
TV's just supposed to be a distraction, but it makes us angry.
Yeah, pretty much. It fuels the fire. We didn't start the fire.
Just about to make that joke. Damn it.
But we sure as shit threw a couple things on top of it to keep it
A
burning.
little bit of beer.
A little bit of beer.
That wouldn't keep it burning.
I was just
Anyways,
gonna ask that. I'm like, does beer have a high enough alcohol content for it to like
I
really do
don't
anything?
think so. It depends on how it comes
Almost
out.
entirely water.
Okay, I thought so.
Speaking of ridiculous things, I don't think they had enough Coach Steve in this episode.
Coach Steve and his weird pharmacy girlfriend was
Reese's Witherspoons,
such a
which is a fantastic name. She's made up of Reese's, Werther's, spoons, and just a bunch of other stuff they found at
one of those chocolate hearts. And
at Talks from Walgreens.
Yeah, it's just that's. Did I gather correctly that he works there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he I forget what his title was.
Well, because he got
But
fired.
because he got fired.
Yes,
But he was like, I'm no longer Coach Steve. Was it Coach Steve of Walgreens or something like that? Like he just adds it to his name. And he has just as weird of a character arc in this as anything else. It just wasn't enough. I didn't see him enough. He just kind of popped up here and there.
Yeah, it's almost like they had to make a switch, like less Matthew, more Coach Steve, which doesn't make any sense to me.
No, give me both.
There just wasn't
Like,
a whole lot of anybody. It felt like it was like they took a 10-episode season and compressed it into 45 minutes.
Yeah,
So
really,
they had
actually,
to-
now that you think about it.
They had
yeah.
to get all of the references in that they wanted to get in and the storyline and do it in 45 instead of in 5 hours.
That sounds about right. Although even 5 hours isn't enough. Give me 10 hours.
I need 30 episodes a season.
45. Let's go for broke.
30-hour-long episodes per season.
Go for broke, my dudes. Jay's arc was just as weird as usual. And he's hit a point now where I think I don't even need him as a character anymore. Like Jason Mantzoukas entertains the fuck out of me. But I feel like his whole arc at this point is just busting nuts and grabbing butts.
Yeah. That's been his point the entire time, though.
Yeah, but the first season he had some magic thrown in there too.
Yeah. Well, he's
and a little
he's
bit of
40.
romance
What do you want from
with
him?
Jesse. That's true. I'm fucking 40. They showed the ladybug a surprising amount too, but they really just used him for like jokes.
Yep.
If everybody just ate a little more pussy, the world would be a happier place.
It's like like using a policeman and a Monty Python sketch. Same idea. Couldn't find
That's
a really
true.
good punctuation for this scene, so we'll just add the ladybug in and then switch to the next one.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what they did, and it worked.
Yeah, well, I mean, makes for a smoother transition because it doesn't have to make sense because it's Big Mouth.
No. You know who I just realized wasn't in this at all, though? Jesse's dad.
No, Greg was not in this.
Greg
at
was
all.
not. Greg!
Greg was referenced, but
Yeah.
Greg was not in it.
Maybe he was just so bummed that he went to visit the rest of his lemon family. Or maybe he fell in love with the purple.
He might have fallen in love with the purple.
Who knows?
May not be able to read, but he can't read a
he
room.
should-
He can't read a room
he should-
either.
Nope.
Poor
Greg. Anyway, I covered all my points.
That's-
Did I mention that the musical numbers were
The
spectacular?
musical numbers are always spectacular, although it felt like they were with the first one, because I can't remember what the second song was.
The first one was catchy as all
The
shit.
first one
The-
felt like,
the-
what's that song? The one they do at the bat mitzvah.
Life is
That's
a
the
fucked up
one,
mess. Life is a fucked up mess. Whoa, it's a shit show?
That's-
Power chug.
Oh yeah,
Power
I'm
chug.
just tired of drinking the tea.
That's it.
I wasn't expecting you to cut back to me so quickly.
You expect me to sing the rest of the song?
No, I just expected you to say something else.
Oh, I didn't know where you were going with it.
I was just saying it
felt
sounded
like
the
it.
same.
Just an entertaining, catchy song. Yeah, I like that for
sounded-
that song. It changed like tunes at some point too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like the same thing for the whole. Like and then it gets to the end, and we just got to make it through this day of the year or something like that. And I was like, ooh, change of pace. I like it. But I also really liked the number 2 song, like I mentioned, which was the Jesse and Matthew singing at the restaurant.
Right.
Having their, they can't be together, but they're real
platonic
good
date.
friends. Yeah. Platonic soulmates, yeah. We know what that's like.
You know what that's like.
I'm going to take that grunt back.
That makes things slightly
That's
less
a little less platonic, yeah. I take it back. Well, it is a Valentine's Day episode. Just let it be.
It can be a little more. Yeah.
But, Craig, did you watch the Big Sexy Valentine's Day special?
I have not watched it this year at all. I did
come on,
not.
man, we
Have,
talked
I
about
didn't
this.
have time.
You had a week. We-
I watched.
You
other,
had an extra day. You had 8 days
I
to figure
watched
this
other
out.
things.
That's fair. Well, Scott, I know you watched it.
I did. I actually watched it today because I was lucky enough to work from home because of the blizzard.
So I want you to hit me with your thoughts on it, because this is the first time you watched
Do you know
it.
It
how to
was
do the
the first
Cupid
time.
Shuffle now?
Yeah, it's a lot of lefts.
Left,
I'm not gonna
left,
go- yeah.
left, left.
Yeah.
And that's how you do the Cupid Shuffle, man.
That's one of the better bits too. That the key change.
Because it's gonna be a key change, baby. Motherfucker's getting creamy. Ugh.
I could have done without the VR segment, but
Yeah, that part was.
Yeah, I kind of.
Although I
walked out of the
realized
room for that
watching it
part,
today.
To be honest.
The woman in it, the blonde, I recognize her from How I Met Your Mother. She's the wedding planner who
That's
won't
where
take the
she's
jacket
from.
off.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I watched that episode of Himium recently, I recognized her. I was like, man, that
Himium.
bitch looks familiar. Himium. What else did you think, Scott? What were your top 3 bits of this one?
Okay, so I don't know about bits. I'm not really great at picking out the bits. My favorite part, at least, was the fact that all the like just classic songs that he covered. I guess you know what I mean.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
so, like I wish some of those were longer. I don't like that a couple of them were interrupted by the bits, but I kind of got it. Like, you know what I mean? I was down for more of a Michael Bolton concert, I think, as opposed to the Lonely Island
you
guys
went
coming
into-
interjected.
Is that what you expected?
you went into
it to
this
be
at a
going
weird
in?
angle. Interesting.
No. I knew I knew what to expect. Like, I was expecting this. Each time he started singing, I started getting into it, and then it was
You wanted
done.
him to finish the song.
Exactly, that's all I want. Or give me like one more verse, because he did like one verse from each of the songs, right? And like part of a
Yeah,
chorus.
other than
or-
his songs, yeah.
Exactly, right? So it's just like, I kind of got it, and like my problem also was I've actually heard him sing all those songs before, because I've listened to the album that came out,
Yeah.
I guess, at the exact same
Yeah.
time as this. And so I wanted more, just a little bit more of a scene, because he's great, and that's why
That's
I
right.
love
Gave you
him.
just enough of a tease. Well, that's
Yeah.
probably what I did, to sell the album.
It's true. It's so true. Because now I'm going to go listen to it tomorrow at work. Because I'm like, yeah,
That's it.
I need to
You
listen
nailed
to
it.
it again. But yeah, no, overall I liked it. The Kenny G bit was kind of interesting to inject.
That was one of my
It
favorite
was
bits.
really good.
No, I liked it. I just, I'm not saying I loved it, but I liked it. It was funny. It's one of
Like
Andy Samberg
did a
right?
surprisingly entertaining Kenny G.
Exactly. So like,
And then
go
Kenny
ahead, Greg.
G as the janitor.
As the janitor?
Is just the better part.
Assholes.
Because you had Kenny
Yeah,
G
there's
in your
cat blood.
special.
That was there before. The cat blood was there before.
Yeah, but I also like that Michael Bolton is very gun friendly. Apparently, just whips out the pistol like
right,
3 times.
right off the bat when he picks up. So you want me to kill the elves?
Yeah,
Oh, he's got a gun.
I did not see that coming, and I just loved that. I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Someone calls him even on it for like, why do you have a gun?
Well, then when he whips it out later again with the Kenny G battle.
Yeah, then he throws
Challenge
it.
you to a duel.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like Michael Bolton is just a really chill dude. Like, I feel like he'd be like one of those guys you can sit down, just have a cup of coffee with, hang out for like 4 hours, and he'd be like, okay, I gotta go, and he'd just leave.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, I feel like he would just be like the super chill, just going through the motions kind of guy.
You have to definitely have a sense of humor to do one of these types of specials, because it does take a little bit, like especially with him turning into Boltron and growing back his hair.
Yeah.
And
his Canadian tuxedo.
Exactly, right? So he's just like, he has no
Holy
problem
shit.
poking fun at himself a little bit. He's very self-aware in that aspect. So I really enjoyed that about him. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I liked about his bits that he's done with Lonely Island before. So this was a pleasant, like, movie, and I'm glad it was only an hour, to be honest, because it did.
Any longer, it would have been a stretch.
Exactly.
Any shorter, and it wouldn't have been as entertaining.
I could have taken a couple of the bits out, to be honest. I didn't need that one twin one.
Well, yeah,
I didn't get
yeah.
it. I thought it was going to
Like-
have more to it than it did, and I was like,
There was a few characters in some of the bits that I didn't like the cake one where they're tasting the cake. I didn't like Chef Roy.
right. Yeah.
I didn't like. I liked the bit, especially with Daryl being a creepy motherfucker.
Yeah, I like being, and everyone just
Like-
going with what the chef's
Yeah.
saying. It's like, oh,
He's like,
wait.
she's thinking, there goes my diet. Oh, ha ha ha. And Daryl's thinking, I'd rather be jacking it. Daryl, that's inappropriate. Michael's saying, I didn't sign off for this. I really didn't. Like, I liked that bit. It was just Chef Roy annoying
Yeah,
me.
his delivery
Did
was
not
a
like that.
slight bit off, I felt. Like, it didn't feel...
Yeah.
I felt like he was a little too in the middle between, like, trying to be serious / trying to be, like, give a wink.
Trying to sell the punchline.
Exactly, and I was like, you gotta commit to one or the other, not go down the middle for certain characters. And I thought, yeah, now I know what you mean. He could have been somebody else.
I did like the bits where Michael Bolton was just kind of seemingly indifferent about what was happening, like when they had I was about to say Alicia Silverstone, that's not it. Sarah Silverman and what's his name? I can't remember his name. Her husband on the show, anyways, where they're singing the song together, and it just gets real disgusting about the pubes.
Yeah, I skipped past that scene because I was like,
Did you?
Yeah, no, it started and I was like, I don't care where this is
it's
going.
not a necessary bit,
Yeah.
but like 3/4 of the way through, Michael Bolton's like, leave me out of this.
Yeah.
It's Misty and Blair. Randall Park.
Misty
is the
and
name of the
Blair.
actor.
That's what it is. That's who it was, yeah. The guy who plays Kim Jong-un
Yes.
in that movie, The Interview. I think that was what it called, The Interview?
I think so.
Yeah, anyways, that's not important. We're talking Michael Bolton right now.
Voltron.
Boltron, yeah. Holy shit, it's peak 90s Bolton. And a few really nice twists in there that, didn't really need to happen, but somehow it worked with the story. Like his girlfriend being pregnant. That whole bit where like it breaks his heart because she's like, oh, I didn't know how better to word that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm pregnant clearly wasn't good enough. It was clearly a breakup text.
Yeah. When he got that one, I knew it was literally to lead into him doing a couple of Lonely Heart songs, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm cool with this.
Yeah, like the "How Am I Supposed to Live Without You"
Yeah.
singing out the window. That was probably the best part of the thing
I
for me.
love
That's
that
'cause I
song.
love Michael Bolton.
Yeah, that's a great one.
He's come a long way from being the album cover in Snow Dogs that talks to Cuba Gooding Jr. while he's in his like fever dream. Fun fact: that movie is what
Such
got
a
me into
deep
Michael
dive.
Bolton in the
Wow,
first place.
okay, that's interesting because for me,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
for me and a lot of our generation, it was definitely the Jack Sparrow video.
No, I got into it with Snow Dogs because I saw the Time, Love, and Tenderness cover there, and I was like, that looks familiar. And then I went through my parents' CDs, and I don't know whose it was. My money's on my dad, but one of them had the CD, and I was like, cool, and that's what got me into
Nice.
Michael Bolton.
What got you into Michael Bolton, Craig?
I was only kind of barely aware of him until I watched the special, to be completely honest.
Hot damn.
That's
Yep.
interesting. Okay, because I feel like you two are definitely have a bigger music knowledge than me, so I found that kind of interesting.
Like, I knew who he was, but I wasn't like
Yeah. Oh, that's what I mean. Like I didn't know who he
Oh,
was
well,
at
then
all
it would have been
before the
radio or something.
Yeah, fair enough. Like I couldn't
I
have told you
heard
one
his
of his
music
songs
and-
before that Jack Sparrow song.
I heard his music, and I said, how am I supposed to live without you? That was corny as fuck.
It was.
Moving on.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like another one to
Now
get back
this
at
is
you
where we
with.
need a key change.
I had nothing.
Nail that key change.
Nail this key change. I'm gonna ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that what's his name, Fred Armisen?
I love Fred Armisen.
Does he not look super creepy to you guys?
I love Fred Armisen.
Everything I see him,
In
and he just
everything, I love Fred
he just
Armisen.
seems like a creepy dude.
He is
gotta help
so
me out here.
weird. But
Like
that's what
this
makes him
this chocolatier. That skit was probably one of my least favorites
Yeah.
in this. It added nothing except for at the end where Michael Bolton gets to say, why did I even go there? We didn't cut to me at all. That was the best part of that whole bit. But I like him in Big Mouth. I like that he's the creepy dad. And then I was entertained by him in Brooklyn Nine-Nine in his like 2 episode appearances where he plays Malipnos,
Yes.
M.L. Clay. Did you say Clay? And that's it. Those are like the only things that that I can tolerate. He just seems super weird and creepy.
He has a
It's his face, I think.
he has a comedy special too, I think.
Yeah. That's was a comedy for drummers or something like that.
And he sits and plays the drums the entire time.
Yeah. That one didn't do it for me. I don't know. Maybe I saw a SNL sketch with him back in the day, and I was like, he's a weird dude.
He's in SNL. He was in Anchorman, Portlandia.
Is he the lead guy in Portland?
What was he in Anchorman?
Give me a second. Actor. He was in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, love that show.
He was
But that's mainly just because I love her.
Saturday Night Live for 229 episodes.
He wears glasses, right?
Yeah.
Like the thick ones. Okay, I think I know who you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about and who you've been talking about. Like that's who I've had in my mind. It took till like Portlandia
Yeah.
before I'm like, yeah, that's definitely him.
Yeah.
If he's the lead from Portlandia, that is.
He is. He
Oh,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
he is. He was in Zoolander 2.
Who was he in Zoolander 2?
He was VIP. So just a background character, I think.
Yeah, he was probably
Oh.
standing behind one of the fashion. You said Zoolander 2, right?
Oh. Yeah.
he's supposed to
He
be one of the
plays.
fashion
Was it a kid or something like that?
He was one character on Kroll Show. Trying to find the part.
I'm pretty sure he played VIP was a kid in Zoolander 2. I remember him being on like a small body.
That makes sense.
That
Anchorman,
does
he
sound
was
familiar.
Tino.
I was in the Lego Ninjago movie as Cole.
I feel like he does a lot of. Well, I would
Lot of
imagine he
voice.
does a decent amount of voice acting. He seems like that type.
Yeah, he's on.
Oh no! You know who he was in Zoolander 2? He was the kid who kind of like took him around. He had the tablet.
That makes
His name wasn't VIP. It was VIP.
Vip. That's why. But it's.
It was
spelled with
yeah.
capitals.
Yeah. He was the super weird kid that they brought into like the super sketchy room with both of them.
That makes sense.
That's who it was.
That describes all of that movie.
You remember so much more
Great
of that movie
movie.
than I remember.
The super sketchy.
Well, that was my best Valentine's Day so far. Was seeing that
Right,
movie.
I forgot that we did that.
What are you, a fucking idiot?
Swimsuit model. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry, my condolences.
No, here for buoyancy.
That was a spectacular movie.
Like, scenes with her are the only parts I actually remember. The rest of that movie, not so much.
Yeah,
I feel like there's more to that than
Justin Bieber
we
getting
should
shot
scratch.
422
Right, I forgot about
times.
Justin
Justin Bieber dying.
Sting.
Yeah.
Is it true that you have sex for 13 hours?
I have a question to ask you.
15.
Not if
the
you're
whole
his
Sting stuff.
father, or that's the one where they're. I have a hard time remembering where the two movies, like,
Yeah.
where they separate. That's
Well,
that's after when Hansel's got the scar on his face. And he's
yeah.
like,
Oh, it's
hideous.
disgusting. Cover it up. It's hideous.
And they're doing the thing where they're throwing where they're throwing the stuff at Derek.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. To try to do the blue steel again to stop it. Yeah.
And just
Or Magnum. That's what it was. It was
hits him in the
Magnum.
face.
Yeah. Oh.
That movie was so good.
He's still so hot right now. Anyways, that's who Fred Armisen was.
That we brought that back.
Fred Armisen was in both the shows we talked about today.
He was in all three. Yeah, he was in the three things we've talked about
I
so
forgot
far
about
today.
Zoolander 2 being the Valentine's Day thing.
Yeah, the Valentine's Day. That was the best Valentine's date I've ever been on.
It was pretty good.
It was spectacular. What are you talking about?
You're right. It was the best so far.
There we
I was
go.
gonna say you both should definitely put that on at the end there, just
For the record,
asterisk?
it is Wednesday, February 13th.
for any just people
Well,
listening, in particular
Ken-
of the
Kendall and I we're not doing Valentine's Day, at least this year. We celebrated 11times Day, which was just doing our shit on the 11th, because that's when I saw her. And 11 kind of worked
because it
with
almost
Valentine.
it almost rhymes, not reminds. It almost
Yeah, exactly.
rhymes.
If it had been the 10th, it would have been better, because it would have been Valentine's Day. But life doesn't always work out perfectly.
I feel like you could have made it work for almost any day of the week, though. You're clever like that. with
Valen
puns.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Valen Thursday? Muntine's Day? No.
Nope.
No.
Almost got there.
Valen Monday? No. Valen Fries Day. That would have been pretty cool. You just bring her fries.
Problem solved.
Here you go. You're my sweet potato. Moving on. What did you guys watch this week?
Who wants to take it first?
Well, mine's fairly light, so I'll start it off. So I watched a bunch of comedy specials again because I just needed something to watch while I was cooking. So I rewatched all the John Mulaney.
Excellent choice.
Yeah, which
Do that a couple more times, you'll be able to quote with us.
Yeah, it's a fucking power move, my
I'm
friend.
getting there. I'm getting there. My brother was started it, and then he was watching the he was watching the one with the the newest one with the horse bit, the horse in the
Yes.
hospital bit.
Okay, yeah.
And I just ended up standing in his room watching it for like
I
the whole
wish you
bit.
would. I wish you would, because I'm a horse and I'm fucking crazy.
God can't hear you.
Yeah.
Is the
But the hospital was inefficient.
There's a horse loose
Loose
in the hospital.
In the hospital. The worst days are the days where you don't hear anything from, and then you just hear the.
He knows how to use an elevator?
I knew you were gonna say that, you dumb fucking horse.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most well written comedy bits
I love
I've
those
ever
bits
heard.
like that.
Because everyone knows what he's saying,
Yeah.
but he's not actually coming out on a side.
Yep.
He doesn't officially pitch, which way he leans.
Yeah, which I really like about it. I like the ambiguity.
Ambiguity.
Thank you.
Because the
That's what I was
closest thing
going
he
for.
does to political stuff is when he talks about Bill Clinton.
Yeah. But that's because he was a dying child who needed to meet him.
He needs to meet the president.
Yeah. This boy needs to meet the next president of the United States. Kind of implying that I was dying.
Yeah, so that was really enjoyable. My brother ended up watching them all too as well, so I think we've all been a good influence on that. I also watched the new Ray Romano one, which I enjoyed because
He's funny. He is quite funny.
he is. He really is. I liked it. Like I felt like a couple times I could see him remembering stuff, but that's fine. That's that's just lack of editing in something, but it wasn't also too.
I watched it as well, and the only thing I could say about it is just he kind of flops from one joke to the next.
Yeah, there's no really like.
But I think
transition
that's because
between
he's been out of the game for so long.
That's kind of
like
his
he's
style,
gonna have
too.
rust.
That's what I was thinking too. Like that's also like a little bit more of a '90s style too. Like a little bit more like
Yeah, like I
you have a bunch of jokes that you tell as opposed to flowing a couple stories that kind of connect in different ways.
Well, recently they added all the Tim Allen stuff to Netflix as well, and I watched a couple of those, and I remember laughing my ass off when I was a teenager, and now I'm kind of like, oh, every joke is the same.
Yep. He's got a formula. Yeah.
Which takes me to a whole different issue I've had with Tim Allen lately, and it's not even him. It's just that they recast his daughter on the show.
Wait again.
No, different daughter.
Different show? Or same
No,
show?
same show.
Okay.
Last Man Standing. They recast Mandy, the middle daughter, and she was my top 3 favorite things about that show.
So they're down to one of the original
recast.
daughters.
Yeah. What'd you say,
They're
Scott?
down to one of the original daughters. Is what you're saying? That's
And she's one of the other like top 3 favorite things about this show for me. So like if there's only one thing they can recast because Tim Allen's the other part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they recast her, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Am I just gonna watch it for Ed?
maybe I could see that. I'd watch it for those two.
The answer is yes.
Well, it doesn't matter. They took it off and put it on Hulu, so we can't watch it anyways.
Oh.
That
Fucking Hulu.
is so
Fuck you, Hulu.
stupid how much stuff is on Hulu that we can't access.
Yeah, I think
For
Hulu, and I'm gonna be honest, I just immediately think everything they take off is just being watched in Hawaii. Because I think hula when I hear Hulu. So I just picture everyone just sitting in Hawaii like, hey, those fucking Canadians. And they watch all the good shit. They're sitting there watching New Girl. They're watching Last Man Standing. They're watching a couple Marvel shows that we don't get.
Oh, that's the one that pisses me off the most.
Those selfish fucks.
Selfish dicks. Already on second seasons of these shows they won't give to Canada, and it's like, oh, fuck you assholes.
Yeah, really. Like, at least DC was nice enough to let Netflix fucking premiere some of their shit.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do that with the next show. Doom Patrol.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Or if they could just give us
Anyways.
the DC app, that would work too. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
What else did you watch?
I watched one other one, but I can't remember. I don't know how to say the guy's name. It's the guy who I think's from like Chicago. I think when you talked
Sebastian
about
Maniscalco.
it. Thank you. That's it.
You got it.
Yeah. So I watched him. I wasn't gonna
Man,
try.
you just took a crack at that one. The Italian guy, right?
I believe so. Yes. Yeah. And he just has very.
What's one of his bits?
Oh, what did I watch? It was something about like he's just a very yelly guy. Like, oh, do you? I liked his like at the airport. Like, do you? No, not at airport. It was people at in Vegas who had like a
At the
with the
pool?
cooler.
With the cooler. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the cooler. Yeah.
Do you not have any like self-respect or something along those lines? I just like.
Aren't
that.
you embarrassed?
Yeah, aren't you
is his
embarrassed?
bit.
That's it.
Aren't you embarrassed? Like he does that kind of whisper yell. What everything he does.
Exactly, and I really enjoyed that. It reminded me a lot of the things I come home and bitch at my brother about. That he's just like, I don't care, Scott, and I'm like, well, this guy understands. He's just funnier about it than I am, apparently.
Yeah, he's fucking hilarious. He's got 2 specials on there.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the second one, but I did watch the one
the more
with
recent one then.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, I watched the cooler one. That's all I remember.
What was he wearing in that one? Was it a red sweater
I want to say yes.
or a blue leather jacket?
It was definitely the sweater.
Okay,
I think
yeah,
my
that's
brother
his
watched
older one.
the leather jacket one. That's why I'm having trouble exactly remembering.
His delivery is just hilarious. And I mentioned it before. I think about a month ago when I had watched the new one. How just he speaks to me for some reason. There's no reason. I don't come from immigrant parents.
Yep.
I have really no connection with this guy whatsoever. It's just my worldviews are just like, why? Why is this fucking happening?
Yeah.
And that's what. And he says it. He says the stuff that I'm not legally allowed to say. So I'm like, I'm behind you, Sebastian. You do that, Seabass.
Yeah, no, I felt like a very similar way. I don't want to agree with everything he says just because I haven't seen all of his stuff yet. I don't want to be liable for that.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, I still enjoyed it nonetheless. I plan on watching his other special. I have a podcast downloaded with him right now that I'm going to listen to too.
Okay.
So yeah. What else did I watch? I watched the Michael Bolton thing. I started another cooking show. This time I'm watching MasterChef on Crave TV. Again, I don't know why.
I forget that Crave TV exists.
I'm so happy.
Like every once in a while, I'll get like heavily into it,
Yeah.
and then I'll just like switch to something else.
I've been kind of, because I got heavy into it when HBO first got added, so I've taken the last month off, and but now I'm tried to get back into it. So I was like, okay, I'll find a cooking show in there. I saw Gordon Ramsay's face, and I was like, that's the one I want. I don't even know what's happening. So then I found out it was MasterChef.
This.
I love Gordon Ramsay. But yeah, this one's okay. It's a lot of. I like it. This one's another home cook people. Like it's not professional ones, so I kind of like that because I feel like that means I have
you can connect
some
with
potential.
it more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They're a little bit more. They're not as like they don't have the culinary background, so it's like they don't have that to draw from. Even though they're being taught by the judges, so like Gordon Ramsay and these two other chefs who I'd never heard of, but that happens with most cooking shows.
Yeah.
I'm not deep enough.
I'm kind of in the same boat with you on that. Like, I don't want to watch professionals do it. Like, I wouldn't want to watch I watch professional barber YouTube videos. I would never watch like a 45-minute episode of something like that on TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, just fucking go get a haircut. Like I don't want to watch a 45-minute episode of a guy changing a transmission of a car.
No, I get that.
I don't want to watch 45 minutes of some guy writing a book. Why would I want to watch 45-minute episode of a professional chef cooking? Like, I'd rather watch someone being like, realistically, this is the shit you're going to have in your house. You want to make this meal? This is how you fucking do it.
Bill
No,
the
that's
Belching Gourmet.
Very simple stuff that I'm like, I can connect with, or things I can learn from, like learning how to cook a steak better, just with little simple tips you pick up.
Well, just call me, man. I can talk you through it.
Well, that was just a generic example.
I have mastered the 1.5-inch beef. You didn't get to taste the Alberta beef I cooked, but that's the best meal I'm ever gonna have.
That was life changing.
If I was in Florida and I was on death row for murdering a bunch of women, and my name was Joe Bundy.
Joe Bundy. It's like Joe.
Call back to last week.
You know what? I think just because it came to mind, I'm gonna recast my. I can't remember who we cast as Joe Bundy, but I'm gonna make a proposal to have Joe Mandy be Joe Bundy.
I could see it. He's just like, fuck. This is as good as it gets. I could picture it.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah. And you wouldn't really have to change many letters from his name. So
Exactly.
That works. Joe Mandy is
Joe Bundy.
Joe Bundy. Anyways, if I'm dying on death row, like, my meal would be that, and it wouldn't be as good because it was perfect. It was as good as it gets.
You'd have to cook it in a gas smoker in the Rocky Mountains.
That
in the
steak
winter.
was my Helen Hunt.
You got mail?
Something like that.
That's literally the only movie with her that I could think of off the top of my head.
Well, I'm what women want, so.
There you go.
Haha.
But yeah,
That's
the
it.
only other thing I watched that I feel like talking about, to be honest, is the Aladdin trailer. Did you guys see Will Smith as the genie? That's all I really wanted to
Fucking
ask.
ridiculous. I said it
thought that you'd sit
before.
there.
You can't have an Aladdin movie without Robin Williams.
They should have.
And all it was like blue-faced version of Will Smith. Like, I feel like that's what his whole role
I felt
was
he
gonna
also
be.
looked like he was on some creatine, like too
They
much
could've
creatine
just-
for his body to handle.
He didn't look jacked though. Like he looked
looked like a bubble.
Do you remember that guy we went to high school with who was all ballooned up all the time?
Yeah, we're not
going to
name him.
muscles?
We're not going to name him.
No,
but yes,
you know who
I
I'm
know
talking
exactly. That's
about,
why I say
though, right?
creatine.
Yeah, like that's what he looked like.
Michelin Man.
Exactly. You know?
Yeah, that was my only complaint about it, to be honest. Was he just
Pillsbury Po'
he
Boy.
looked very weird. Like it was like Will Smith isn't an out of shape guy. Why'd you guys have to like turn him into like the Rock looking
yeah.
guy, or like more like Vin Diesel
Yeah.
looking? Because the
Yeah.
Rock's got definition. He didn't
Yeah.
really have. Well, it's CGI, but still, I was just like,
Yeah, they went for like the like a Ving Rhames looking kind of thing.
yeah,
where he was just like big but nothing intense.
yeah. Which I guess maybe has some like connection
Michael
to like
Chiklis.
the actual mythology behind genies, but That was my only complaint. For like seeing Will Smith's face bubbled up just threw me off a
I
little
didn't
bit.
like it at
Yeah,
all.
it seemed weird. I was like,
The only reason I will watch this movie is for I was supposed to say Ariel, not Ariel, for Jasmine.
Jasmine, yes.
And that's just because she played Kimberly on Power Rangers.
Yeah, I knew I recognized her from something
That is the
like that.
only
I couldn't
reason.
remember which
I
one
saw
it
her
was.
and I was like, fuck yes, you kick ass. If they could do a spin-off, like not spin-off, but like a twist in this movie where Jasmine is just a total fucking badass, that's the only thing I can say of this movie.
I'm fairly
for me
certain
at
that's
this
going to
point.
be a twist, not twist, but a revamp to her character.
I hope so
In
because
this
she
modern
plays a really
Disney
good
era,
badass. Yeah.
That would
Have,
it would
have
actually
Aladdin be a bumbling fool.
It would surprise me if they had her in any way be a damsel in distress in any way.
She
That
doesn't
would
look
surprise
like the
me.
type.
She's not
like
supposed
I
to be.
feel
Just
like
because she's a
like,
princess.
I think I've based my whole opinion on her as a human being around her role in Power Rangers, and I stand by it. Like, I feel like if I was like, hey, Dollface, she would just rip my teeth out. She wouldn't punch me and, like, bust my teeth. She would actually just choke
Grab
me out
them.
and pull my fucking teeth out. And I'm fine with that. I deserved it. If I'm going to look
You
at someone
would.
and call them Dollface, I fucking deserve it.
Yes.
That is a high school Andrew move, and no one needs that. No one.
I love the Craig, finish the
Colin-
word.
Referential.
Thank you. I couldn't get it
Calling
out.
out high school Andrew on the Forgot to Grow
That
Up
guy fucking
podcast.
sucked, okay? Like, don't try to defend that piece of shit.
I love calling
Fucking
out our
sucked.
high school selves. It's my favorite
He had a
thing to do.
4-inch chin strap, okay? Nobody needs that.
Man. I like that we're self-aware.
I know what I was like in retrospect. Don't know why anyone liked me, but it happens.
We were all going through things.
Yeah.
I
Life is a
posted
fucked up mess.
More than one shirtless picture just for my ego. That's like, it was a different Scott then, okay?
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
different Scott.
That's fair. We're different. We grow full beards now.
Yep.
Life is good.
It's funny because our podcast is called Forgot to Grow Up, but we definitely moved on from high school.
We matured.
we
we
forgot
definitely
to grow up.
matured.
Yeah. We matured. We just didn't grow up. I still fucking watch Power Rangers like once a month. I'm so tempted to start watching Beast Wars again. And I went into Toys R Us the other day, and I
can
told
vouch
Scott
for
I
this.
almost dropped $300
Yeah. I saw the
on
snaps.
Transformers because they were so fucking cool. So cool. Like, they were perfect.
You had to choose between that and one Lego set for $300.
Yeah, I was looking at the Hogwarts Express, and that got me psyched. Like, and then I walked out. I was like, no, I
Don't need to spend
can't. I have
hundreds of
bills to
dollars.
pay.
Yeah.
I have bills to pay. I can't do this.
Mortgage.
So I left and I
tax
cried a
season's
little
coming
bit.
up.
I'll be honest. I bought 2 action figures, but
Tax write-off.
they were $10 a piece.
Peach.
$10 a piece, and it was Robin and Batgirl, and they kind of complete my set, so to speak, of the fact that I have the Ben Affleck Batman. And I was like, fuck yeah, these guys look cool.
awesome.
I'll put those with my thing,
I'm in need of
and
those
then
right
those can go in my office one day.
Nice. I like that.
If you want to fight me on it, fuck you guys.
I would fight you for
Not you-
them,
not you guys.
but not,
Thanks,
not,
man.
not about that.
That's
like,
fair.
if there was
That's
no
fair.
more Batman figures in the world, I'd be like, we just
Man,
not like
for Christmas.
yeah.
For Christmas, my mom got me. I showed you the remote control Batmobile.
Yes.
You don't even know how pumped, and then how like deeply divided I was on getting that, because I was like, I want to play with it, but it looks cool in the box, but it'll look cool on my floor with the remote in my hand. Yeah,
That's
so
the
I
struggle of all
didn't. I didn't
toys.
grow up. I just matured.
Yeah, and learn you got to buy 2 toys, one to keep in the box, one to play with.
It's like comics. You buy 3. You get 1 to read, you get 1 to put away and never look at for collectors, and you get 1 to sleeve so you can show people.
If you're going for 3, you might as
Or
well
you
get a
don't.
4th.
Or if you do that, I don't do it.
Yeah, I don't
I
do
buy
any
the
of that.
collections. I buy the collections from chapters because I like to read in bulk.
Same here. Yeah. Agreed. I don't understand.
Agreed.
I don't even understand where you would get individual issues of a comic. That still baffles me.
Not in Canada.
Not in Canada.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, the 4 stores in all of Canada.
Yeah. Half of them are in Vancouver.
Yep.
The other 2 are slightly outside of Vancouver. Craig, what did you watch this week?
So we already talked about the Big Mouth special.
Yep.
So I'm gonna knock that right off the list. I wrote down that I started something, but I don't remember what that was. I started Pulp Fiction,
Oh, nice.
and I made it an hour through the movie. Felt like I'd already seen the best scene, and thought was like, oh my god, I've been watching this forever. And then paused it, and it said I had an hour and a half left. And I was like, nope. I'm going to die before I watch the end of this. So I started Pulp Fiction.
Have you never seen it before?
I don't understand why it's a big deal.
Okay, so did you know that the plot is actually backwards? So the first scene you see is actually like chronologically. So like if
Is, like,
it's technically
at the end?
yeah. So like timeline wise, that's the like it goes backwards in a sense.
I didn't pay enough attention. So maybe I will
I've seen it
finish
like
now.
5 times. Never knew that. I only learned that in like a video I watched like a month ago.
It interesting.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to throw that caveat in. I'll ask if you had known that or not, because I didn't know that.
I feel like I did know that. I just didn't remember it.
That's fair.
And so now I might have to actually finish it. I'll force myself to do it one day.
See how it began.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? It felt like it was all over the place. So that's actually starting to make a little bit of sense that way. I watched some Family Guy again recently. Yesterday was a snow day, so I had a lot of downtime.
My snow day was
between
today.
trying to hunt stuff down on Netflix and watching Family Guy and playing NHL 19. I had a very productive day.
Killed it.
Oh yeah, it was so productive. So I watched some Family Guy. Yesterday I watched this documentary on Netflix called "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" It's about Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That was a roller coaster of emotions that I'm very glad I watched by myself.
Did you watch Mr. Rogers growing up?
Tears
then?
happen.
I did watch Mr.
Okay.
Rogers a lot.
It's a little bit of sentimental
So
connection to
there
that.
there was some sentimental, some good memories. He's just a great guy.
Yeah, no, I've heard
And-
really great things about that, and I remember him as my childhood, but I do not have a connection at all. Like, I remember it was
I used-
definitely on the TV at some point when I was younger.
I used to watch the show all the time.
Right on.
So that was cool to watch. I liked it. Brought back some good old memories. There are definitely parts where I was like, yeah, I remember watching that. What I didn't realize about the show was how flippin' old it was when I watched it.
Oh, really?
Because yeah, it was like I never, as 6-year-old Craig, never would have realized that it was like all the episodes were recorded in the 60s, the 70s,
Holy
the
shit.
80s. Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot of
I didn't know
super
that.
recent stuff. Yeah, no, it was like almost all
That's
recorded.
super interesting.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things that the documentary gets into too, where he's like making political statements with the show, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of footage of him interacting with kids, and just kind of shows how great of a person he was, just all the time. So I watched that. I watched Dirty Dancing for the first time ever.
I can't even comment. I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
It,
I hadn't
that movie,
seen it.
it's a classic, but I have no use for it.
I had never seen it. I knew
Do you want Sam to do the lift to you?
some. Yes, please.
At your
I would
wedding.
love to be lifted. Yep. I know now that in order to get that done, I'm gonna have to practice it in water.
Is that
I
actually a
learned-
bit in the movie then?
It is a bit in
Okay.
the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned.
Just making
some
sure,
stuff
because
in
I'm
it.
like, my
movie.
memory of it is definitely like Family Guy parodies of it, or
It
Simpsons
is a
parodies
much
of it.
darker movie than I expected it to be.
Oh,
There's a whole black market abortion scene.
Yeah.
that
yeah.
gets brushed over a lot when people talk about how great that
Yeah,
movie is.
That movie is like I have no complaints because I
That's
did.
some real shit. That's
I shocked I'm shocked that I enjoyed it.
that's.
I'll go with that.
okay.
It was interesting. The only things I knew about it were that it was supposed to be really good, and John Mulaney makes a reference to it, and
That's the reason
Pierre
enough to check.
Kells
Nobody
make a
puts
reference
Baby
to
in the
it.
corner.
Yeah, he's the guy that put Baby in the corner. This
Yeah.
is Jerry Orbach.
Jerry Orbach.
Um,
This podcast, love is spelt with 2 eyes.
That is that comedy bit is the genesis of the Hey Listen Hollywood segment.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
yeah.
a little bit of trivia
Yeah,
right there,
yeah.
Scott, because that was our first pitch of the commish back and forth to each other was based around.
Okay.
That's
John
what
Mulaney's-
it was. Remember we talked about it and we couldn't figure out how we.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Yeah, it was based around John Mulaney's pitch of whatever the movie's called.
Oh, let me run through the bit in my head.
It's
James
man.
Con one? Con? Is that the bit he's taught? Like the,
no, he does.
okay.
He does a bit about how like
This bit isn't
it's
on
not
the
in
Netflix
it's not in the
special.
Netflix specials. It's
Gotcha.
in his it's in his comedy album. He does a bit about
Yeah.
how Jerry Orbach donated his eyes.
Oh.
So 2 New Yorkers have Jerry Orbach's eyes. So he does a pitch for a movie where
You're
they're
gonna sell your grandmother's earrings? What? I need it for season tickets.
So he does a pitch where it's a romantic comedy about 2 very, very different New Yorkers, and each one, the only thing they have in common is that they've each got one of Jerry Orbach's eyes stuck in their heads, not just to keep.
Like put there by a doctor.
And so then, because of his role on, was it Law and Order?
Law and Order.
Where he
Yeah.
makes the snarky comments about things.
Watch yourself, McCoy.
with the bit or with the where he makes the one-liners basically in
Yeah.
the show. And so like the culminating scene is that they're like walking towards the same alley where there's a dead school teacher, and then they look and then they catch eyes and they're both like, huh, school's out.
School's out.
And then that's the big part of the whole movie. Yeah. It's a really good bit, but that's the genesis.
Because they keep crossing each other's paths.
Yeah, and they just
You know,
keep
you're
just
like, oh, when are they
missing each
gonna
other.
meet?
Yeah. The best, yeah. So that was a long way to go for a Jerry Orbach reference, but there we are.
There we are.
And that's all I knew about Dirty Dancing. And the other thing I watched. Have either of you heard of this movie called Catch and Release?
It sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar. It's a romantic comedy. Surprise.
Sounds less
Who's in
familiar.
Jennifer Garner and what's his name?
Oh,
I have to look it up.
I feel like this was her first one after her and Ben Affleck broke up. That's all I maybe know about.
2006. Timothy Oliphant and
Okay, I think that's before.
there's a comedian. He's really big, Kevin Smith,
Okay.
but like fat Kevin Smith.
Yeah, well, Kevin Smith's only
The
lost
better
all his
Kevin
weight
Smith.
last year.
Yeah.
Did you say the better?
yeah.
So that so I watched that movie. Well, I didn't watch that movie by myself. Sam and I watched that movie. Just
Okay.
so we're all clear.
I would have let it slide either way.
Clarification.
Well, I didn't watch it by myself. I honestly wouldn't have chose to watch it by myself.
Fair.
But
That's fair.
it was a good movie. The soundtrack is really good in that movie. I'll give it that credit. It's about a girl whose fiance dies, and she kind of finds out stuff about him. I
Well,
don't
that
want
sounds
to give. I'm not gonna.
sounds like something I will literally never watch.
Yeah. Okay. So then, like the whole the main plot point is that she finds out that he has a kid that he had as part of an affair
Okay.
when he was in LA. It's a whole thing. But then you find out that it's not his kid. There's
He's just like
whole
taking care of it.
making up. Yeah, he was just taking care of it because he didn't even question it.
Oh, because he needed a redemption arc for his
He
character.
knew he'd make
yeah.
yeah. So then like the whole thing all goes back to, although he still had the affair, but everything like goes back to normal.
Oh, that's fair. That's I assumed because there was no baby, there was no affair, but that's not the same connection.
Oh, she didn't get pregnant. It didn't happen.
Doesn't count.
That's not how affairs work,
that's-
Scott.
That
No.
was not the whole redemption arc, unfortunately. And that is all I watched this week.
Right.
So Andrew, hit us.
My
with
turn.
with what we watched.
More importantly, I'm going to hit you with the name of that movie that John Mulaney pitched. It's Love at First Sight.
Right.
That's what it was. This summer, Love at First Sight.
Love is spelt with 2 eyes.
2 eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I went and saw the greatest sequel known to man, the Lego Movie Part 2,
So
the second
Wait,
part.
when I asked you about this, you made it seem like it was not worth it. You said everything is not awesome.
That's a reference
Oh, okay.
from the movie.
Okay. So I read that and I was like, oh, well, that's disappointing.
No, this
It's
movie
not
is
what I wanted.
spectacular.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
I will see it at least once more in theaters, whether Kendall wants to go with me or not. Hopefully, she doesn't fall asleep this time.
It'll be a matinee too.
Best movie ever. She fell asleep.
She had a rough night prior, in her defense. She didn't sleep much.
That's fair. I've never fallen asleep at the movie theaters, but fair.
It cost too much fucking money for me to
That's
fall
what I was
asleep
thinking.
personally.
I'm just like, I'm
But-
way
That
too cheap to,
$14
you know.
right?
That's it.
Yeah, I don't
But,
pay other people for my sleep.
I'm not going to tell you any facts about it, but it is
Better
a
not.
really good movie. Really good movie. Although I'm gonna hit it with Stephanie Beatrice blows my fucking mind, because this is another one where one role she's been in has formulated my entire viewing and my opinion of her, and she is the exact opposite of Rosa on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She is a very bubbly, excited, sweet woman, whereas Rosa is just dark, mysterious, and brooding.
That's the whole
She's
thing
like,
with Rosa is that she's not 100% like that. She just puts
Yeah.
on an act.
yeah, yeah. And it just, I've based my whole opinion on her being like a Latina Batman. But, and you don't even really hear much of her voice. It's just a nice little arc here near the end. But it's a really good movie. Definitely see it. Scott, maybe
Oh, wait for.
date someone with a kid and go see it. Yeah, one date, just
That's the trick.
go out, or date Kendall. Don't date
No,
Kendall.
no,
Don't.
no.
That was a test. So I watched that. I watched the Ray Romano thing, like you had mentioned,
Yep.
and I enjoyed it. I gave the Gabriel Iglesias One Size Fits All special
Oh, I had
another
watched that
shot
too.
because I was kind of falling asleep the first time I watched it. So I gave it another shot.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to the entire thing while I was awake. I think I laughed twice.
Yeah, it's not great.
It was not awesome in the slightest.
There was like one bit I liked, I think, which it was some kind of celebrity story he told.
The Snoop Dogg one,
Maybe.
where him and his son Frankie, when they go to be on what he thought was a podcast, but it was like a live show with Snoop Dogg, and he got real ripped.
Yeah, no, I'm remembering
With
that
Snoop
bit.
Dogg?
Maybe I'm forgetting
I didn't
which
find
bit
it
was
funny.
actually good. No, I'm agreeing that one wasn't good either. I might be misremembering that it was a celebrity-based story that it was funny
Yeah.
because I was watching other
Well,
stand-ups
he had a
instead.
couple other
Okay.
thing references, but I can't remember anything off the top of my head because it was not memorable.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. I used to like him a lot, but again, as I grow older, my taste
When
changed.
he first came out, he was a different flavor of comedy.
Yeah.
He's also funny.
No,
the
he was
first
like he was
time.
like Kevin Hart, right?
Exactly.
Kevin Hart. The first couple times you hear him, you're like, ha ha ha, amazing.
But then you catch
And then
the
you pick up
formula.
on what his cadence
Yeah.
is and what his jokes are going to be, and you're like, ah, never
You
mind.
learn the formula.
You're
yeah.
not.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're not like Tom Segura.
Do you think
Damn it.
everyone has that? Like all comedy fans have that problem, or are we like
It depends on the comedian.
fair?
It depends. Yeah, for me, it depends on the energy they bring.
Yeah,
Like,
and their
if it
variety
seemed-
as well.
Yeah, like George Lopez, I still really like him. All his jokes are the same, but something about the energy he brings keeps me going. Plus, I just love the George Lopez show. Fucking love that show so much.
That's,
So he
yeah,
gets a free
second
pass from
thought.
me. But Dane Cook, like, he was one I really like his early stuff. And then after that, I was like, how did you get a 2-hour comedy special?
But he's one of those ones that are funny once.
Yeah. Chris Rock, I like some of his early stuff. And then his last special on Netflix, I was like, okay, you had some jokes that were pretty funny. But
Yeah.
you've been out of the game for a while, so. Amy Schumer, never.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Chelsea Handler, fuck off.
We really don't talk about that.
Can't believe I said her name.
It's blasphemy on this podcast.
Tom Segura, fantastic.
One of the best.
You've redeemed yourself, basically.
There we go. I started here, went here, came back in here.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, so I watched the pilot for Life in Pieces
You
because
missed that.
somehow I missed that. Like I've watched the show start to finish probably 4 times and I missed the pilot every single time.
That's weird.
It's like, it happened to me a few times in Family Guy where an episode in the middle of a season I wouldn't have seen. Where it's episode 14, and I'm like, how the fuck did I miss
Just
this?
fall asleep.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. But I watched that, and it answered a lot of questions for me.
It's kind of an important pilot.
Yeah,
We'll start.
like it has information that comes in like 4 episodes later. Like the joke about them having to wait six weeks before before Greg and Jen have sex again, and her lady parts being all destroyed from having a baby. It all makes sense when you watch the pilot.
Yeah.
Or you really get a taste of what John's character is because of the pilot. Mm-hmm. You're not just thrown into the deep end. So I'm glad I finally saw it, and it answered questions for me. It didn't change my opinion of the show, but
Still fantastic.
it's still fantastic. I watched the big sexy Valentine's Day special,
Obviously.
the best Christmas movie ever made. I watched Big Mouth, not just the movie, but I rewatched the whole series as a lead up.
Oh, nice.
I got 2 more things on my list. I watched The Innocent Man, which is a docu-series that's, I'm not sure what year it came out in, but it's based around a John Grisham book, his one and only venture outside of fiction
Huh.
into nonfiction. And it's about this small town called Ada in Oklahoma, where they have a couple of murders that happened, and people ended up in jail who weren't the murderers, or there's a strong chance they're not. And I like the way that they did it. I read the book, I guess about 2 years ago. I read the book, and I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite because I felt confused at parts. Mm-hmm. It was very well researched, but the angles of it seemed odd. But seeing it in a docuseries, it was you're able to put things together a little better.
You're able to visualize the story a little more.
And they do a really, really fantastic job of giving you all the information, leading you to a spot, and then giving you like 3 different possibilities of what could have gone wrong. Because it's a 6-part series, and after like part 1, like they really sell it on these guys are fucking slime balls. They're disgusting. They deserve to get the death penalty type thing. But then the second episode, they're like, well, these guys suck, but some new DNA evidence came up when they exhumed the body like 5 years later, and it couldn't have been them. And then like episode 5, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, everything that they used in court as their testifying was just them getting led on and provoked by the police, and then they omitted that stuff. And then you find out like, oh, the investigating body here had 800 pages worth of information, or 600 or whatever. They had a lot of pages of information pertaining to the case, and they only gave 140 something to the DA. So it becomes like plausible deniability, just organized plausible deniability. Wow. And they really lead you to a point where you're like, what went wrong? This guy, and for me, anyways, I look at him, I'm like, he clearly wasn't the best guy as a teenager. He made a couple of wrong decisions, but this guy's been rotting there in jail for so many years because of something that, in my opinion, he didn't do. And he recounts a dream he had, a very vivid dream of sitting in a truck with a guy who tells him some stuff, and then it skips forward in the dream, and him and his 2 of his buddies, they ended up raping and murdering this girl. Real dark dream. And they're like, yeah, we cut her, and we stabbed her a bunch of times, and we got the knife like this far in. And then his buddy, who is actually a little mentally unwell, had a similar dream. So they both recount these dreams, and then that gets used as the evidence that locked them up. But they didn't have a body. It was just them admitting to something in a dream.
Well, that's...
And then they find the body years later, and the woman wasn't wearing the same shirt that they said she was wearing, or the cops had kind of been like, so she was wearing a shirt with a frilly collar and blue sleeves type thing. And, yeah, that's what she was wearing. That's what she was wearing. Kind of egged on. And then they find the body years later, and she's wearing like a red shirt, like short sleeve shirt, and she was shot in the head. Oh. So like I see that, and I'm like, oh fuck, these guys, they probably didn't do it. Like they told them they killed her a totally different way in a totally different outfit, like 17 or whatever years ago, and then they find the body, and it's totally different than what they said. Something went, something went awry. Yeah. And then they lead you another way, like to the cops. Like maybe they're sleazy, maybe they're crooked, because they really don't paint the DA and the lead investigator as good guys. Oh. Like they seem very like old, the old town. Like we're the ones who run this town. We've got it. And they say right off the bat, like the lead investigator, he's retiring once he solves this case. So to me, it's just like, okay, this guy, he wanted to finish the case, to solve it. Yeah, and ride off into the sunset type thing, seem like a hero and then retire on the highest of notes. So it definitely doesn't paint a good picture for the police work that was done in Ada. And it's a really, really good docuseries. It's only 6 episodes. It's like 45 minutes an episode. And I really, really enjoyed it.
Right on.
The other thing I watched two, like not this week's, but the last 2 weeks' episodes of The Flash.
Yes, I'm also caught up on those.
I am getting so sick of the women in Barry's life, other than Caitlin Snow.
I knew that was coming.
And Cecile. I'm going to give Cecile a pass too.
Cecile's awesome.
But Nora fucking sucks.
Nora's just
She's
like
just so dumb.
Face, like palm just makes that's every time she just does anything. I'm like, why do you have to make every decision the opposite of something you've literally said you've learned your lesson about?
She's around our age.
Yep.
But she acts like she's 15.
Yeah, that's actually one part that always confuses me. So like, if her presence seems like she's like a teenager, but it seems also like, she's supposed to be an adult who works for the CCPD or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like
she's an adult. She's a working adult.
Yeah.
Like she's got to be at least 24, 25.
Yeah.
Like she's been doing the job for a while. And another part of that is I don't understand how Barry and Iris are like, this is our daughter. Oh my goodness, we love her. Like they kind of like took her word at it.
Yeah, it's always been annoying. Yeah.
Like they're like 4 or 5 years older than her. Like you can't have the mom and dad relationship with someone who, pays the same taxes as you.
It's so true.
Like
there's no my house rules where the person can just literally go rent a room somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, mom, fine, whatever. Don't save me $500 a month.
Like, and Iris is just so fucking whiny.
Yeah.
Oh, my blog isn't everything it could be. Then go fucking do something about it. Stop wasting your time getting in everyone's way on Team Flash.
Yeah, no.
Like the episode where they go into Nora's dream or her head by accident, trying to get into Grace's head. I'm like, why the fuck is she even there? Why is Iris even there?
Yeah, especially
they've already said that there's a weird relationship between her and Nora to begin with,
which they try to patch up with that episode.
Like, oh,
yeah, they're very clunky characters. It just feels very like
useless.
Yeah, they feel like
they don't move anything along.
They feel like they're MacGuffin characters. They're just there to like, once in a while they got to be in danger or be the motivation or.
We know damn well that Nora's not going to be around next season.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen. She's either going to get rewritten, like history's going to get rewritten and she's not going to exist, or she's going to be a different role in the future, whatever. Because the Flash doesn't keep his sidekicks around as the main sidekick more than a year.
Yep.
It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, no.
And Nora sucks. Awesome. So she's going to leave. Perfect. That still leaves Iris. That still fucking leaves me with her for at least another season.
We talked about this. We hope the timeline changes so that it's Iris West who disappears, is not the Flash.
If only. Like, and you were saying like you were willing to give her a pass before. I'm so glad you're at the fuck Iris point.
Just,
she
sucks.
She said,
like her character growth is like, I whine about more things, as I'm supposed to be growing. And it's like, well, no, you've gone through
I
this
feel
so
like
many
I don't
times.
contribute to the team.
You don't.
You don't. You don't. Your dad is a police detective. Your husband is the Flash, and he's a CSI. Caitlin Snow's a fucking doctor. Cisco's a brilliant tech dude. Ralph Dibny's an amazing fucking private eye.
You're not even a reporter. You're a blogger, which doesn't require any
Even
training.
your daughter, who's useless, runs fast. Like, she has something she brings to the table.
And like they've tried to make her like the team lead a little bit, which
I didn't understand that last season either.
Yeah,
Season 4.
it's-
I didn't understand why all of a sudden, she's the one who calls the shots.
just
Why?
because we are the Flash. That's why.
Can someone not break her neck and then just move on from there?
Well, we are the Flash.
Yeah.
Fucking hate that line so much. Like, what?
Yeah.
No, he's the.
No, you were the Flash before her.
Yeah.
When she was banging Eddie, you were the Flash.
Yeah. I'm still watching it.
Anyways,
I'll never not
before I-
watch it.
No, I'm still watching it. Just it's become a point now for Kendall and I to watch it and be like, yeah, Caitlin, you the fucking girl. Ralph, you the man. Why are you with her, Barry? Why? Cisco, get your head out of your ass right now.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
I love him, but sometimes. He's
And
a
then
little
just
bit
bitch
dense.
about just watch for Iris, just to like see what stupid annoying shit she's gonna do.
what trouble she gets
That
herself
is
into.
that's our Thursday night. That is our date
Fair
night.
enough.
Is watch the Flash
It's a good date night.
and complain about it. It's a pretty solid date
Yeah.
night.
Almost a Jurors Day.
But that, yeah, Flash Thursdays. But that completes my WWWTW list.
right
In
on.
the episode too, I think.
Yes, sirs. Thanks for listening this week, everybody.
And if you didn't listen, why are you tuning in now?
Yeah, that's a weird
Yeah.
thing. Why would you come all the way to the end just to hear us plug our next episode, which we're not even going to?
No, that's it. One love, everybody.
Bye.